Hello everyone and welcome to Journey with the Kellers. My name is Amanda Keller and today we are back in the Keller kitchen. So today we are going to be making something from the official Disney Parks Celebration cookbook. Today's recipe is part of, let's see, what celebration are, I think we're in the Fine Arts Fair. Yes, the Epcot International Festival of Arts that's at Walt Disney World Resort. So today's recipe is called Blue Corn Puposa, stuffed with cheese and topped with shredded pork, okay? And of course, this is during the Fine Arts Fair. It says this is a Salvadoran specialty. I was trying to see if it says where it's actually... Oh, it's at Vibrant and Vividio Encanto Cocina Food Studio. Oh. Encanto Cocina Food Studio. I'm maybe saying that right. Okay. Not right. Okay. So for this, we are actually going to start out with a different part of it first because there are some things that need to be made and refrigerated for like 4 hours and things like that. So we're going to start with those things and come around to do the rest of it. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to make is for the cabbage slaw. Now this, you have to cook a certain part of it and let it go to room temperature and then add in some other stuff. So while it is going to room temperature or cooling down to room temperature, we'll make the Aji Amarillo cream and then come back to this. So just to let you know. Okay, so for the cabbage slaw, what you are going to need as far as like prep work ahead of time, you are going to need 2 cups of shredded red cabbage. You're also going to need a half a cup of red onion thinly sliced. Now I know mine's not red. I must have forgot to buy a red onion at the store, or maybe I saw the red cabbage and didn't realize it said red onion. I might have just saw onion, but anyways, I didn't have a red onion, so I'm just using a yellow onion, I think it is. Then you're also going to need 1 carrot that's been julienned, which means thinly sliced, okay? However you want to do that. You don't have to do it lengths like this. You could do thin circles, however you want to do that, okay? And I may even cut these in half because it's going to be, cut them in half long ways because it's going to be a little bit before we use these. Okay. All right. So the first thing is in a small pot, you are going to take 1/4 of a cup of water. Then you're going to add to that a half of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Okay. Then you're going to add a half of a teaspoon of coarse, it says of coarse salt, okay? I don't know if you guys have watched some of my stuff before. I usually don't buy certain salts. I usually just use salt, okay? So I'm just going to use a half of a teaspoon of regular salt. Then we're going to put in a 1/4 of a teaspoon of dried oregano. Down in there, there we go. Okay. And then you're also going to put in 3/4 of a teaspoon of brown sugar, which I don't have 3/4 of a teaspoon on here. So I'm going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon and then 1/2 of a teaspoon to make 3/4. So here's 1/4 and here is 1/2. Okay. All right, and then the last thing for this part anyways is you're going to put in just a pinch of red pepper flakes, okay? Pinch of red pepper flakes. There we go. All right, so now what you're going to do is turn the heat on. Does it say a specific heat to use? Medium heat. Turn it on to a medium heat and you're going to cook, stirring it frequently until the sugar dissolves, okay? So we'll just stir this up. Let it cook for a little bit. Make sure that that brown sugar dissolves in there. And then I will, so once you get the brown sugar dissolved, you're going to take it off of the heat and then you're going to let this cool down to room temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get this up so that the sugar is all dissolved, get it heated up. Then I'm just going to shut it off and let it cool down to room temperature. While it is cooling down to room temperature, I will come back and we will make the Aji Amarillo cream, okay? All right, so I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, you guys, so I got the the cabbage slaw dressing is what we were making. It came up to a boil. I stirred it for a little bit, made sure that the sugar was dissolved, and now it's over there and coming down to room temperature. Okay, so while that is cooling, we're gonna go ahead and make the Aji Amarillo cream. This is pretty easy to make. So what you're gonna do is you are gonna take a 1 cup of sour cream, and you're gonna put this into a bowl. You don't need a huge bowl, but you know, one big enough to hold a cup of sour cream, I guess. Okay. Then you're going to add to this 2 3/4 of a cup of Aji Amarillo paste. And if I'm not saying Aji right, please let me know. You know, sometimes I forget to look up how to say stuff and that may not be right. So, and it's AJI, Aji Amarillo. Okay, so here's 1 teaspoon. Here is 2 teaspoons. And I did get this Aji Amarillo paste off of Amazon. So if you need a place to get it from, that's where you can get it. And then again, for the 3/4 of a teaspoon, I am going to use a 1/2 teaspoon and a 1/4 of a teaspoon. Okay, there we go. And then you're going to need 1 tablespoon of lime juice. It's supposed to be fresh lime juice, just so you know. But I already have this, so I'm going to use non-fresh lime juice. Okay. And then also 1 teaspoon of coarse salt. And then also you could use more to taste if you want. After you stir this up, you can see if you want to add more. So there's 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, we're going to stir this all together. Try not to make a mess with it. You know, sometimes when I look at these recipes, especially for like Disney, and they're like complicated. Like this is a complicated recipe. It's basically 3 different recipes or 4 different recipes, I think. Is it 3 or 4? I think it's actually, well, technically it's 3 recipes. No, it's 4 recipes. So it's 4 different recipes mixed into one to make a thing. And I wonder, do they really do all of that to make these for Disney? Or do they shorten it? Do they do it in a faster way? Are they making a bunch of stuff ahead of time? Because like this, they could make ahead of time. The dressing, they can make ahead of time. And probably even a little other parts they can make ahead of time. So, I mean, how are they doing that? You know, when it's a busy place. So, just kind of makes you wonder. All right, so now we have got this cream all done here. Looks pretty good. This looks like a kind of a off-whitish cream color, okay? All right, so now you can just put a lid on this and put this in the refrigerator until you're ready to serve your pupusa, okay? So I will put this in the refrigerator, wait for my dressing to come down to room temperature, and I'll come back and tell you the next steps to add from that, and then we'll go from there. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, you guys, so our dressing is all nice and cooled down now. Basically just it kind of looks like a vinegar and oil thing, even though there's no oil in it. It's maybe more just like a vinegary kind of dressing. It's very liquidy, okay? All right, so now all you're going to do is you are going to take 2 cups of shredded red cabbage and put it into a bowl. Then you're also going to take a 1/2 cup of, it's supposed to be red onion, sliced thinly. Mine is white onion because I didn't have a red onion, or actually I think it's a yellow onion, okay? And then also your 1 julienne carrots, which julienne just means thinly sliced. So just thinly sliced carrot. Make sure, oops, that one's not separated all the way out. Here we go. And you're gonna put that in there. And you're gonna mix those all together. Okay. And then once you get those mixed up pretty good. Oops, see, I missed one that I didn't. Oh, I did cut it, it just didn't come apart. There we go. Okay. So get those all mixed together. Okay, once they look good and mixed, then you're just going to pour the cooled dressing over top. Stir that up. Or toss it, whichever one you want to do. Okay. Okay, and then you are going to cover this and put it in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours. And then, or up to 1 day is what it says before serving, okay? So here's what it looks like. Looks pretty good, actually. I really like all the color. Make sure we get it all nice and sunk down in there so it can absorb more of that dressing. Put a lid on it, and then I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator, okay? So then I will come back when it is time to make the, let's see, what is the next part? We're gonna be making the pork with Jujulo arbol chili sauce. Again, may have totally messed those words up. For this, you are going to need 6 dried Jujillo. I no, that's not how you say that. It's Guajillo chilies. You're also going to need 1 arbol chili, okay? The other thing that you might want to make sure that you have ahead of time is 2 to 3 pounds of pork butt cut into 1.5-inch pieces. Now, I don't think I have pork butt. I think mine's pork shoulder maybe, because the pork butt was too much, and I was going to end up spending a fortune and only using like half of it. So I did a pork shoulder instead, so that would be smaller. So just cube that into 1.5-inch pieces, and then I will come back and tell you what we're going to do with all that here in just a little bit. Okay, you guys. So now what we are going to do is you are going to need 6 dried aguajillo chilies, Guajillo chilies. They're dried. You're going to pull the stems off of them, okay, or cut the stems off of them. You're also going to need 1 arbol chili, and you're going to do the same thing as pull the stem off of it or cut the stem off of it, okay? What you're going to do is, it says to use a skillet. I'm actually using a pot because this is the same pot I'm going to use for the next step, and these go in it. So I didn't want to have to dirty up another set of dishes. So you're going to heat the pot up on a medium heat for about 5 minutes until it's nice and warm, which it is now. And then you are going to put these chilies in there. And you're just going to toast them for about 1 to 2 minutes on each side until they get a little bit darker, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I need to get a pair of tongs. So I'm going to do that, and then when I come back, I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll go on from there. So I'll be back in just a minute. Guys, so these are done. As you can see, they started getting darker. See how they're getting darker there? They're not as red. They're getting darker around the corners. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you are going to add in 6 cups of water. So there's 4 cups, and then 2 more cups. Okay, and then also 1 garlic clove, okay, and you're going to put those in there. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring this to a simmer, and you're going to cook it covered for about 20 minutes until the peppers are nice and soft, okay? Now, while you're waiting to do this, you can go ahead and chop up your 2 to 3 pound pork butt that you've cut into 1.5-inch cubes, which I already have sitting right here and ready to go, okay? So I'm going to bring this to a simmer, cover it, and let it cook for 20 minutes. And then, and then once it has cooked for 20 minutes, then you can take an immersion blender and you're going to blend it all up together. Now, if you don't have an immersion blender, I'm sure it'd be fine to dump it into a regular blender and blend it up that way. That would be fine too. So cook it for 20 minutes on simmer with a lid on it. Then use an immersion blender or a regular blender and blend it up. Once I get that done, I'll come back and we'll go from there. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, you guys. So I got this all heated for 20 minutes and then used my immersion blender, and it basically made this red liquidy looking stuff. I will warn you, 1, it's hot, and as you're blending it, especially if you're using an immersion blender, it's kind of splashy. 2, I'm coughing because like I inhale some of the seasoning and it's kind of gotten trapped in my throat. It's a little bit hot feeling even to breathe it in. So just so you know. Okay. All right. So now that we've got that done, what we're going to do now is we are going to take 2 tablespoons of water in a small bowl. And we are going to, oh wait, before we do this, I'm doing the wrong thing here. Sorry about that. All right, first we're going to season our pork that we cut up with some salt. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. And then you are going to bring this back up to a boil, which shouldn't take too long because it's still pretty hot. All right, you're going to bring that up to a boil and add this in before it comes up to a boil. So just turn it on, add this all in there, and then wait for it to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to reduce the heat so that it just simmers. And you are going to cover it and let it simmer for about an hour, okay? And basically, you just want the pork to get tender, okay? And then you're going to remove the pork from the liquid and let it cool for 20 minutes, okay? So, and you're going to save the liquid. Don't throw it out, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get this up to a boil, then go ahead and cover it and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. And then I'll remove it from the heat, take the pork out, save the juice, and then just put the pork on a plate to cool for about 20 minutes. Once it's cooled for 20 minutes, then you can go ahead and shred the pork up, okay? All right, and then I will come back and show you what we're gonna do with the liquid that's in the pot. And also I'm gonna come back and we're gonna make the blue corn puposas, okay? So I will be back in just a few minutes. Okay, you guys. So now to make the blue corn puposa, whatever, anyways, the first thing you're going to do is take a baking sheet and line it with parchment paper and then just spray it with some cooking spray, okay? The only other thing that you might need to do ahead of time is you are going to need 1.5 cups of white cheddar. I think this is extra sharp white cheddar because that was the only thing I could find, and then I just grated it up myself, okay? All right, so once you have both of those things done, what you're going to do next is you are going to take 2 cups of blue corn mesa, which I did have to order this. I didn't see it locally anywhere. I think actually I got this through the Walmart website though. I didn't get this one through Amazon. I've never seen blue corn mesa. I didn't even know it was a thing. So that's pretty cool. Okay. A little bit more here. Okay, so there's 1 cup there. Almost got it here. And 2 cups, and I wanted to see, you guys can see that it's just like a hint of blue. It's not like super extra bluey or anything like that, but it is got a little hint of blue in it. Put some of the rest of this in here. There we go. Okay, so there's 2 cups. All right, so then you're gonna add to this 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. If you don't have a 1/8 teaspoon measuring spoon, which a lot of them don't, you can just do about half of a 1/4. So 1/8 of garlic powder. And then you can do 1/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder. Okay. Make sure that says 1/4, yep. 1/4 of onion powder. Okay. And then you're also going to put in 1 teaspoon of coarse salt. Now again, I don't buy the different salts, so mine's just regular salt. If you have coarse salt, go ahead and use it, okay? So 1 teaspoon coarse salt, okay? All right, so you're gonna mix this all together. All right, so now you're going to need 1.5 cups of water altogether, but you're going to divide it into 2 stages. So the first thing you're going to do is put about 3/4 of a cup of water in here, okay? Which will leave you about 3/4 of a cup left. Almost there. A little bit more. And my son laughs. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now there's 3/4 of a cup of water, and you're just gonna mix this up. Once you get that pretty good and mixed up, then you're gonna add the other 3/4 of a cup in, but you're gonna do it 1/4 of a cup at a time. So add in the first 1/4 of a cup. Almost. A little bit more. There we go. Stir that in. And you want the dough to become soft and pliable. Okay. Now add in the next 1/4 of a cup. Should leave you with 1/4 of a cup left. Almost there. There we go. Getting better. Okay, let's add in the last 1/4 of a cup. Okay. Oh, definitely softer now. Make sure you scrape down the sides of your bowl. Oop, don't fling stuff outside of it like I just did. Okay, so as you can see, this is a pretty soft, you know, pliable, it's sticking together real good kind of dough, okay? Just gonna make sure we've got everything mixed in, there's nothing on the bottom. Okay, there we go. All right, so now what you're gonna do with this dough is you are gonna scoop out 1/4 of a cup of the dough at a time, and you're gonna make it into a ball, okay? Maybe, here we go. Oh, and I told you 1.5 cups of grated cheddar. That's too much. We only need 1/2 cup. That's okay. All right, so now what you're gonna do with this ball, move this out of the way so you can see here. So you're gonna put the ball down and you're gonna put a well in the middle of the ball, okay? Go all the way through, just make a nice little well, okay? A little hole, basically. Then you're gonna take 1 tablespoon of your white cheddar. A little bit more. Go. Oops. And you are gonna stuff that in there, okay? All right, once you get it in there, you're basically going to close this ball up around it, okay? Do the best you can, seal it off pretty good. Squish it around, maybe even re-roll it a little, okay? Okay, now you're going to put this on your baking sheet and you're just gonna gently, see a little piece of cheese there, gently flatten it, okay? Make a nice little flat disc. Don't have to be too flat. You want it to have a little bit of thickness to it. Does it tell us how? Nope. Just make sure that no cheese is showing, okay? All right, you're gonna do that with the rest of your dough. This should make about, does it tell me how many? I think it's 8. If I remember correctly. Yes, this should make about 8, okay? So once you get them all laid out, the only thing you're gonna do to cook these is you're gonna take 1/4 of a cup of canola oil and heat it in a skillet. And then you're just gonna fry these for about, you need to heat the skillet up for about 5 minutes with the oil in it on like a medium heat. Then you're gonna cook them for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You just want them to get dark blue in color and then they should be crispy on the outside, okay? And then once you get them all done, you just need to keep them warm until your pork and all of that is done so we can put these together, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these rolled, and then I'm gonna heat up my 1/4 of a cup of oil. I'm gonna fry them about 2 to 3 minutes on each side until they're dark blue and are crispy on the outside, okay? So I will be back once our pork is done and shredded, and I can go ahead and we can assemble this all together, and we can do what we're gonna do with the water that the pork is in right now. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, you guys, so the little pupusas are done, nice and dark blue here. I have my pork over here resting, waiting to be shredded once it's been sitting for 20 minutes, which isn't quite yet. So our next step is you are going to take, sorry, everything's hot. You're gonna take got your water from your pork here. You're gonna take 2 tablespoons of water in a small bowl, and you're gonna add to that 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Oh, this isn't open yet. I didn't realize that. I need to put this up here. There we go. Whew, made a mess. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of cornstarch into your 2 tablespoons of water. So 1. And, oh, flowing too much out. 2. Okay. And you're gonna stir that up. I think I have a spoon over here. I do. There we go. And let me check. I think you're gonna add this in and bring it to a boil, but let me check to make sure I know what I'm doing here. Okay. Well, it's not that part, it's over here. Sorry, you guys. Just want to check to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, yeah. So you're gonna go ahead and turn this liquid on, and you're gonna bring it up to a boil again. I'm gonna move this lid out of the way. And then once you bring it to a boil, you're gonna add the cornstarch and water mixture in, and you're basically going to boil it. I don't know if you turn it down. Do we turn it down to low? It just says once it comes to a boil, add the cornstarch and stir it until the sauce starts to thicken. And then you're gonna turn it down to a low and just keep it warm until you're ready to use it. Yeah. Oh, okay, I see. So you're gonna basically, okay, so I read that wrong. So make your cornstarch mixture, bring this to a boil, put the cornstarch in there, and then you're going to stir it until it thickens up. Once it thickens up, you're going to turn it down to low to keep it warm. Then shred your pork, and then you're going to add the sauce to the pork. I think I'm just going to put the pork in the sauce instead of the other way around. Probably be easier that way. So shred your pork up, and then either put it in the sauce or put the sauce on the pork, whichever way you're going to do it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and then I will come back and have this ready to go. So we'll assemble them and see how they turn out. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, you guys, so everything is ready. So here is our pork meat. I don't know if you can see that real well. It's in the nice little sauce there. The sauce thickened up just a little bit. Shredded the pork, put it in there, stir it up. You can add some salt to taste if you like, to fancy it up a little bit. We've got the slaw, the cabbage slaw, cabbage and carrot slaw, I guess you would call it. That's been in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours. Same thing with that. I think it says you can add some salt to that for taste as well. Let me check to make sure. Oh, that's not it. Here we go. Oh, salt and pepper to taste. So I didn't put any pepper in this, so let's grab some pepper here. And I will put a little salt and pepper in there. Okay. And a little bit of salt. And I already told you about the aji cream. You can add salt to that as well to taste if you want. I didn't add any more salt to it. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. All right, and then of course you have your pupusas over here, which are nice and dark blue. Some of them have a little bit of cheese showing through, but that's okay. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your puposa, that should still be warm. You're gonna set that in the center of your plate, okay? You're gonna top that with pork. So I'm gonna bring the plate over here to the pork. Hopefully it won't make too much of a mess. It's making a mess, but that's okay. We can always clean it up. Okay, you're gonna top that with some shredded pork. I want to get a little bit more. I think there should be a good mound of it. Okay. So top that, ooh, that's hot. Top that with some shredded pork. There we go. And then you're gonna put some red cabbage slaw on there. So I'm gonna start out with just some slaw. And then make sure we get some carrots on. Maybe a little bit more of this cabbage here. There we go. Okay. Make sure we got a few onions on there. Trying to make it look good. There we go. All right, and then the last thing you're gonna do is just drizzle some of this Aji Amarillo cream on top. And then you can garnish it with some cilantro leaves if you want. I'm not gonna get my cilantro out. I don't know that I even have any anymore. I think it went bad before I got to use this recipe. And that's not really a drizzle, but that's okay. So try to drizzle it. Mine just kind of slapped on there, but that's fine. Okay, so here we go. Blue corn puposa, stuffed with cheese and topped with shredded pork. It does look good, you guys. That looks delicious. Okay, I'm a little worried about how spicy it's gonna be, because like I've said before, some in my family like spicy food, some do not. So we'll try this, see if we can get a little bit of everything here. Get some of the puposa, some of the shredded pork, get some of the slaw. All I got's an onion. Didn't get any, here we go, carrot or anything. There we go. All right, so let's see how this tastes, you guys. Okay. Okay. The pork is a little bit spicy, not super so. And I think the coleslaw and stuff kind of helped to tame it down a little bit too. That is really good. I'm really impressed with that. I really was kind of worried that I wouldn't like it, because I am one of the ones in the family that does not like spicy food. But that's actually pretty good. So I guess so you do get a little bit of spiciness from the pork, but with it mixed with the coleslaw and the Aji Amarillo cream, and then the puposa on the bottom with the cheese and stuff in it, it kind of tames it down a little bit. Now, I think if you ate the pork by itself, it would probably be fairly spicy. Maybe not super, super spicy, but spicier than what I could handle. But putting it all together, it's a delicious mixture of flavorings, you guys. Let me tell you. Oh, so you get a little bit of the puposa with the cheese, a little bit of the pork, a little bit of the slaw, and then the cream on top. It's fantastic flavoring. It's almost like you get everything at one time. Oh, sorry, my cat is playing right around the camera stand. But you get almost everything at one time. All of the food groups, a little bit of tangy, a little bit of meaty, a little bit of spicy, maybe even a little bit of sweet in there. It's all kind of mixed together. It's really good. Okay, I'm impressed, super impressed with this recipe. It may have taken a lot to make it, but I think it was worth it because it's really good. Okay, you guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Like and subscribe if you like, or don't if you don't. Everyone have a good day. Enjoy your cooking. Keep your kitchen messy, and we'll see you later. Bye.